The protagonist of the movie is Yamabi Takuya, a 27-year-old man who lives in a tiny apartment in Tokyo alongside his wife, Yukari. Takuya is a web designer by profession and spends his entire day at home working on different projects. On the other hand, Yukari works at a hospital as a nurse and usually arrives late at home. In this way, the lives of the couple are completely contrasting. Takuya doesn't get to go out, while Yukari doesn't get to spend much time at home. One night, as Takuya is busy with one of his projects, Yukari arrives home, tired, and demands food. Takuya was supposed to prepare dinner, but since he was engrossed in his work, he forgot about it. Now, seeing his wife angry, he gets scared and decides to order food from his usual delivery app. However, when he opens the app, it sends a notice that food deliveries will take a bit more time due to a large volume of requests. As a result, he decides against using the app. He then browses through the app store for another delivery app and comes across a new one called Otodokemono. Strangely, the description of the app mentions that it can deliver the products in just 2 seconds. As expected, Takuya doesn't believe it and thinks it is a joke. But since his wife is hungry and can attack him at any time, he decides to give Otodokemono a try. He orders 2 cheeseburgers, which have normal rates, but the delivery charge is a bit high at 800 yen. We all know that burn, Takuya. Still, he finalizes the order and waits for the delivery. Surprisingly, the doorbell rings instantly, and on opening, a beautiful girl walks in. She is wearing the Otodokemono cap and has the delivery parcel in her hands. Taken aback, Takuya questions the girl if she is carrying the right order, but the latter just hands him the parcel and leaves. In the next scene, a still confused Takuya examines the burgers to verify their authenticity. After a bit of sniffing, he concludes that the burgers are real and that the order is correct. Just then, Yukari comes out of the shower and is excited to see that the food has arrived so early. Takuya mentions that it arrived in just 2 seconds, but Yukari believes that he said it metaphorically. She then starts devouring the burger, and to Takuya's surprise, it tastes delicious. Later, as Yukari is doing her evening facial, she notices that her moisturizer has run out. Once again, she gets angry at Takuya because it was his job to order the new stuff. She chastises him for failing to do the household chores, despite being at home all day. Just then, an idea strikes Takuya's mind. He opens the Otodokemono app and types in the word moisturizer. Surprisingly, the product is available, and Takuya orders it immediately. Once again, the doorbell rings instantly, and the same girl delivers the product. Was she just hanging out outside the door? Witnessing this, Yukari is left speechless, and she finally believes her husband. After the surreal discovery, the couple start ordering from the app every day. They buy all kinds of stuff: food, clothes, kitchen items, even toilet rolls. With time passing by, their lives become heavily dependent on the Otodokemono app. One day, the two order some steak, and when it arrives, Takuya is stunned to find out that it is from Beef and Peace, American Steakhouse. It turns out that there is no such restaurant in Japan, and the food was delivered from the States itself. With this, the couple realizes that the app can even bring them stuff from different parts of the world. They then decide to make a list of the other supernatural items that can be delivered to them. At first, they try 1 million yen in cash, but the total charge comes out to be 1,800,000 yen, the additional 800 being the delivery charge. Then, they try the iconic One Piece's Great Treasure, but the search engine sends an error, mentioning that the typed keyword is invalid, and they'll have to watch 1,000 episodes first. Following this, Yukari tries a teleportation door, but the search engine says no results found. In this way, one by one, all the couple's fantasies are declined. But just then, Yukari comes up with an idea. She types in the wedding ring that Takuya lost a year ago, and surprisingly, the item is available. What's more surprising is the fact that the total price of the item is still only 800 yen, which is the delivery charge. With this, the couple deduces that the ring Takuya bought her was knockoff crap. Just kidding. The couple deduces that the app can also find lost items, and if it's an item that they already owned, there are no additional costs. Wasting no time, Yukari immediately places the order, and the same girl arrives at the door in 2 seconds. She hands them the ring, which is exactly the one that Takuya had lost a year ago. Following this, Yukari gets another idea. She types in the word meow, which is the name of her dog she lost 10 years ago. When she was a teenager, you'd think she'd call it Bark. The plan works, and the app is able to locate the dog. In no time, the product is delivered, but strangely, it comes inside a box. The couple open it nervously, and instead of a dog, they find a pot. There, they find the rotting bones of Meow, and realize that the dog died long ago. Despite this, Yukari is not willing to give up on her long-lost friend, so she types in the keyword meow, but in a live condition, and orders it. Surprisingly, the dog is delivered in the same condition that it was lost in 10 years ago. Takuya is left speechless by the phenomenon as he realizes that the app can also deliver things from the past. In the next scene, Yukari is at the hospital. She visits one of her patients, Mr. Tsukamoto, who seems to be searching for his watch. Yukari approaches him and mentions that he didn't have any watch when he was brought in, and Mr. Tsukamoto finally calms down. She then advises him to buy a new one when he is discharged from the hospital. But Mr. Tsukamoto gets angry and lashes out at her, telling her that the watch was gifted by his late wife as a keepsake. Hearing this, Yukari starts reminiscing about her dying mother, Saori, who had also handed her a locket as a keepsake. The mother expressed her last wish to see Yukari getting married, but the wish was never fulfilled as she passed away just a few days later. I do not like where this is going. At night, an emotional Yukari opens the Otodokemono app and types in the words, "My mother Saori, in healthy condition." Oh boy. Seeing this, Takuya gets scared and tries to stop his wife, as he believes that the dead should not be disturbed. However, being the stubborn girl that she is, Yukari does not listen and proceeds with the order. Shockingly, the billing amount totals around 167 million yen. Despite this, Yukari presses the order option, but nothing happens. It turns out that the app will not deliver the things that are out of the couple's budget. The next day, Takuya scrolls through the internet and reads about a famous baseball player getting married. He then types in the name of the same baseball player in the Otodokemono app and learns that his price is around 3.7 billion yen. With this, he finds out that a person's worth is the entire income that they have earned in their lifetime. Meanwhile, Yukari, who is still distraught that she cannot meet her mother, approaches Takuya and tells him that they should stop using the app. Being the sensible husband that he is, Takuya agrees without saying a word. He should just search Jeff Bezos and the app will implode. Cut to a few months later, the duo has now resumed their normal lives. One day, Takuya is at the cinema, waiting for his wife to arrive. He soon gets bored and calls Yukari to know about her location. When she mentions that she has just left the hospital, Takuya becomes impatient. He then orders the forbidden app and enters his wife's name to check her worth. Surprisingly, she is absolutely free, and only the delivery charge is included. Here, Takuya remembers the ring, which was also free, since he owned it. He then realizes that though he does not own Yukari, since he's not Andrew Tate, she is still his wife, and that makes her his responsibility. After the realization, Takuya immediately orders his wife, and bam, she's there in the blink of an eye. With this, the two start exploiting this feature of the app more often. Whenever Yukari finishes her shift at the hospital, Takuya just orders her so that she doesn't have to board the crowded train. They even go on overseas vacations using the same technique, which saves them a lot of money and time. In this way, the couple start living the best versions of their lives and become very close to one another. In the next scene, Yukari surprises Mr. Tsukamoto with his long-lost watch, making him excited. He then promises to help her when she needs it the most. At night, it is the couple's anniversary, and Takuya has prepared a lovely dinner for his wife. This time, he doesn't teleport her using the app, as he wants to surprise her. However, when she doesn't arrive on time, he becomes anxious and calls her. He reveals that he has set up a surprise dinner for her and asks her to come early, but Yukari mentions that she wants to eat at a French restaurant instead. One thing leads to another, and the couple get into an argument. After the call, an enraged Takuya opens the Otodokemono app and prepares to order his wife. Simultaneously, Yukari also opens the app and types in her husband's name. They both press the order option at the same time, and because of a glitch, they are transported to another universe, which is dark and has several doors in it. Scared, the couple tries to brainstorm several ways to get out, but all of them go in vain. Just then, Takuya takes out his phone and realizes that it has got reception. He immediately calls one of his friends and instructs him to download the same app and type his name into it. However, when the friend types in Takuya's name and presses the order option, the total bill comes out to be 200 million yen. This is because the friend does not own Takuya, so he has to pay the full amount. Now, with no one to call for help, the couple becomes trapped in the place forever. Cut to the next scene. 3 months have passed and the couple is still living in the same place. They have used the Otodokemono app to gather all the basic amenities that they require for living. This also includes the dog. Takuya is back to his web designing work, but Yukari, who worked as a nurse, stays idle all day. The only person they meet is the same delivery girl who works for Otodokemono. A further year has passed by and the couple has started growing distant. One day, while Takuya is busy with his work, Meow, who for some reason is still a puppy, starts starts crying. This enrages Takuya, and he shouts at the poor puppy. He then barges inside his wife's room, revealing that they have started living separately. Takuya orders Yukari to take responsibility for the dog, but the latter is uninterested. Because of this, Takuya becomes further enraged and slaps his wife. He quickly realizes his mistake and tries to console Yukari, but she sends him away. A few days later, as Takuya is working on his computer, an idea comes into his mind. He approaches Yukari with a divorce paper and mentions that if he marries another girl, she can use the app and order him for free. And as soon as he returns to the real world, he will break up with the girl, remarry Yukari, and order her back. Although Yukari is hesitant, as she believes that Takuya will betray her and start living with his new wife. She signs the document as they have no other options. The next day, Takuya starts his hunt for a suitable girl. He gets a beautiful ring and shows it to random women online, but each one of them is unwilling to marry him without meeting him physically. Upset, he leaves his desk and heads to Yukari's room, but surprisingly, she is not present there. Takuya then searches around the whole area, but Yukari is nowhere to be found. He then calls her and gets stunned to find out that she has returned to the real world. It turns out that she contacted Mr. Tsukamoto for help, and he ordered her via the app by paying the full amount. Hopeful that he will now escape the mysterious place, Takuya tells his wife to marry him and order him back, but she refuses. Instead, she mentions that she is going to marry Mr. Tsukamoto as he is rich and can provide her with a far better life. Hearing this, Takuya is devastated and he begs his wife to call him back, but she hangs up the call. Left with no options, Takuya opens the Otodokemono app and tries to order his wife, but her new price is over 200 million yen. It has been several years now, and Takuya is living alone in the place. One day, when the delivery girl arrives with food, Takuya begs her to rescue him. He says that he would do anything to get back to the real world. When the girl hears the word anything, she takes him to her workplace, which has thousands of employees who look exactly like her. Elsewhere, Yukari is with Mr. Tsukamoto, and they are living a happy life. The couple also uses the Otodokemono app quite frequently. One day, Yukari orders a wallpaper for her house, and when the order arrives, she is stunned to see her ex-husband, Takuya, on the other side with her delivery.